As protests continue along the U.S.-Mexico border, LULAC members from across the state are joining in. What their message is, plus how one Houston business is helping those who are still rebuilding after Harvey. And it may be a week away, but that didn't stop some from being patriotic a little bit early this weekend. As tensions running high and protests along the U.S.-Mexico border continue, local LULAC members also joined the fight to end family separation and the Trump administration's zero-tolerance policy. 3 News reporter Taylor Alanis shares their message in tonight's top story.
LULAC Council 1 President Dr. Nick Adame says he had no idea he would actually get to witness what the public has seen on televisions across the world until Saturday's protest. Emotions ran high as a busload of children rolled out of the U.S. Customs and Border Protection Facility on Saturday in McAllen, known as the Ursula facility.
We hear a voice for those children right now that are asking for their mother and their father and haven't done it.
Corpus Christi LULAC President Dr. Nick Adame Facebook Lives most of the Free the Children rally, including when protesters blocked the bus from leaving.
As some of the people had their hands on the buses and they were praying, you could see their little hands on the glass.
Adame says no one could give the group answers as to where they were taking the young passengers.
Even though a executive order was signed, we still have children that are still separated from their families.
Adame says comprehensive immigration reform has always been on top of LULAC's agenda,
with a pathway to citizenship for the 11+ million that are here.
But he says the way these families were torn apart and treated is a human rights issue.
People fleeing their countries because of civil war and drug cartels, and they come to seek asylum, and what do? We incarcerate them.
Adame says the protesters ended up moving out of the bus's way and says the protest was meant to just bring awareness to what is continuing to be a crisis at the border. Taylor Alanis, 3 News.
Well, over 2,000 migrant children have been separated from their parents in just the past 2 months. And today, 32 parents of those children were released in El Paso. They are the first to be released from the group separated under the Trump administration's zero-tolerance policy on illegal border crossings. And as the protests continue on the border today, celebrities even joined the groups, calling for more transparency on what's happening in these facilities.
To really be there on the ground and to be able to put faces to the stories and to be able to hug the kids, and that moved me more than anything.
The Department of Health and Human Services says that more than 500 children have been reunited with their parents since May. However, thousands continue to be separated. Well, 2 women in College Station are arrested after leaving 5 children home alone last night, the youngest just 5 months old. Police add the home was unsafe and had unsanitary conditions. Both women are charged with felony, abandoning or endangering a child and could face 2 years in prison plus a $10,000 fine. Well, as some might be rebuilding after Harvey or wanting to do some remodeling, housewares and fixtures can get expensive very quickly, and that's why some are leaving it to a NASA flight controller to figure out a cheaper way. Melissa Correa from our sister station in Houston reports.
Toilets and windows and sinks. It's easy to reuse that clever cadence when walking down this road.
Everything in the store comes from a house that no longer exists. It just seemed like a lot of houses were being torn down in Houston, and there had to be a way to save some of that material.
Carolyn Kostak,
I was a flight controller for Space Station and Space Shuttle.
Leaned on logistics to avoid the landfill.
Oh, yeah, and it's got all the shelves and stuff.
She and her team started with deconstructing homes.
One more. There we go.
Carefully removing things like cabinets and plywood and hardwood flooring. But Carolyn didn't have space to put all the stuff they were saving.
So that was why we opened up this store, was just to have an outlet for the material.
So it's fitting that repurposed depot is in a recycled warehouse in a neighborhood that's finding its second wind in a city under construction.
These are shutters? They're like a plantation shutter. It goes on the inside of the house.
Oh.
Inside the window.
Yeah.
They're very expensive.
So let's talk cost. If an item is in good condition, it's about half of what you'd pay at a hardware store. If something requires a little TLC, it's even cheaper, which is especially nice for people trying to rebuild after Harvey without the help of insurance.
We've had so many people come in with just horror stories of contractors taking their stuff or people coming in and stealing everything.
You can also donate things and get a tax write-off, like this $11,000 stove on sale for $2,000. Just in time for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, right.
East of downtown, Melissa Correa, KHOU 11 News.
Well, July 4th may not be for another week, but the First United Methodist Church celebrated a little early today, hosting their 5th annual patriotic concert. Our Madeline Dart shows us an inside look at the Red, White, and Blue Review.
The oldest church in Corpus Christi proving to be patriotic ahead of the holiday.
Well, I love it. That's why I go to the church and hear.
Find the wealth of American music that we can present.
Organizer of the Red, White, and Blue Review, Brad Kistner, says the annual event started as an idea. Today, it's evolved into something much bigger.
Well, I think we all give thanks for the land and for the country that we live in, and I thought this was a good way to feature some of our musicians here in the church as well as throughout the community.
Kistner, an avid pianist, usually leads the ensemble. But this year,
I'm having a really good time tonight because I'm getting to play the piano and not just direct tonight.
Kistner also teaches at Texas A&M Corpus Christi. He invited President Kelly Quintanilla
ladies and gentlemen,
to be the master of ceremonies.
It is really wonderful to look out and see all the red, white, and blue as we gear up for the 4th of July.
Patricia Furley says this is one of the many events that keep her going to the church.
Oh, these are always wonderful, wonderful things, and it's a feel-good performance, and we have fun performing them as well as listening to them.
Among the sea of red, white, and blue, musicians and patriotic individuals. Thankful for an event that celebrates America through music.
It's a blessing that we can share this, share our wonderful facility, share our time and our talents together with the people throughout the community.
Madeline Dart, 3 News.
Well, still to come here on 3 News at 10, it may be a hobby for some, but one motorcyclist says he's riding cross-country for our veterans. His story next in tonight's Military Matters. But first, let's check in with meteorologist Sean Kelly for a look at weather. Hey, Sean.
Hey, Michelle. Another hot and humid one today we saw across the coastal bend. We do have some changes underway, though. Cooling on down into the 70s and 80s tomorrow morning. We could be waking up to a little bit of some rain showers across the area. Details coming up.